thank you. It's good to be here. I don't get to travel and talk too often, so this is a bit of a new thing for me, but always excited when I'm given the opportunity to tell people what we do and why we're doing it, most importantly, because we're pretty passionate about what we do. So this talks most about why aren't green homes mainstream, and we'll all have our own thoughts on that, but hopefully by the end of this presentation you'll have a sense of why we think we're not mainstream and what's going to take it. I'm recording two things here, so just bear with me as I get into the rhythm of this. I'm usually having a clicker in my hand. So my name is Cory Krygier. I'm the principal with Jigsaw Homes, co-founder of another initiative called Jigsaw Blue, which is founded to help accelerate the broad commercialization of high-performance homes. I was born and raised in Calgary, and I spent a bit of time on the West Coast. I got my master's degree in architecture, as I mentioned, and I went on to work at a large architectural firm. I didn't like it very much, it wasn't for me. So I moved on to home building, where I could get my hands dirty, get involved in projects where I could be involved start to finish. It's kind of the dream. Built a few homes, and then I built a few more homes, and before I knew it, I was a partner in a home building company building over 30 homes per year. It got crazy. Things slowed down, and now I'm able to focus on, and we changed our focus. We kind of moved it more formally over to focusing on high performance, energy efficient, sustainable homes. We're very committed as a company and an organization to being key contributors to developing the market for green homes over the next decade, to growing that market. So what is mainstream? Today everything is green. Our cars are green, our food is green, and our homes are green. At least we're told they're green. But what does that really mean? And if everyone is green already mainstream? And if it's already mainstream, then why do we even talk about it? That's kind of our thinking on that one. Green homes are no exception. When will green homes be mainstream? And brings us to our definition of what is mainstream. Our dictionary says the principal or dominant force, tendency, or trend. Okay. Our definition, a product or concept becomes mainstream when it is a basic consumer expectation. So we're looking at an old 70s ad for cars. At one time, the idea of selling a vehicle based on its fuel efficiency was completely unheard of. And as this industry transformed to meet the consumer demands, the way that cars are sold has transformed as well. This is a screenshot of the Ford website probably a few months back, and can fuel-efficient cars now be considered mainstream? I would suggest that the car companies are capitalizing on consumer expectations for more fuel-efficient vehicles. And today it would likely be considered mainstream to use efficiency as a major component of a value proposition for the new vehicle sale. In some cases, fuel efficiency is the only thing that's mentioned. They don't talk about the wonderful interiors and how fast these things go. They talk about the fuel efficiency. So the context, why do we even care if green homes become mainstream? And I guess it's the context of a conference like this one and many others that go on all over the place. What is it that makes us even consider that doing this is important? And of course, we can make a strong case that a green home is simply a better home. It's more durable, it's healthier to live in, it's going to be more comfortable for its occupants. I would suggest that one of the key underlying drivers is the push for the push to having higher performing homes is the need to reduce the energy that our homes are using. There's a larger context as well where the costs, both monetary and environmentally, of building the way we've been doing it in the past are just simply too high. In the coming years, energy costs are going to go up, global demand for energy is going to go way up, and we need to be looking for ways to reduce the amount of energy. It's going to be very difficult for us to keep producing more and more and more, at least sustainably for sure. So this little graphic, the information is taken from the Department of Energy, and it just, I like it just briefly because I don't like to highlight graphics of other people's data too much, but that's pretty important. Residential piece of the pie, in this graphic is 23%, I've seen it down to 22, 21%, I've seen it as high as 24, 25. I don't really care, it's a lot. So residential is almost equivalent to transportation in terms of the energy, end use energy. So it's a tremendous opportunity to reduce it. And energy conservation starts at home. While it's not real sexy like big projects, we saw some wonderful projects here already, the Dixon School, I've seen that many times, it's a great project, people can really get excited about it. A little harder to get excited about a little house making, 4 kilowatts of power. But energy conservation starts at home, so the habits are formed at home. This is a quote from Stephen Chu, who's the current U.S. Secretary of Energy. This is during the Obama campaign. He said, "Just refrigerator efficiency saves more energy than all that we're generating from renewables, excluding the hydroelectric power. I cannot impress upon you how important energy efficiency is. It doesn't mean you eat lukewarm food and your beers are lukewarm. You can still have it. You just make a better thing." And I think that implies we make better houses. So what impact does one house have on the overall energy needs of use in the world? Consider the house perhaps as a single pixel on a screen. When you see it on its own, it doesn't amount to much and it's seemingly insignificant. You're not able to see the whole image from one pixel, and an individual house is similar in the context of energy efficiency or production, and as such, it's quite easy to ignore it. However, as we come out to the neighborhood level, we can begin to see that the collection of houses have a larger impact, and we can start to think about things like district energy and neighborhood level generation. We can also begin to see the potential impact that a whole neighborhood can have, of high performance homes can have in general. Zoom out further and consider what the impact of a city of 1 million people with over 200,000 individual residences can have. Further still, and what about a population of 400 million in North America with millions of residential properties? Now we're talking a pretty sexy project. The potential for energy savings at home followed by the production is staggering. There is enormous opportunity in the retrofitting of the existing housing stock to make these homes not only more energy efficient but more comfortable and a lot healthier. So Jigsaw Homes. We've been building homes now in Calgary for 10 years, mostly in the inner city. We've always been focused on design. That was where my background as an architect came in. Finishing quality was always important. My business partner is a finished carpenter. And it was a natural evolution for us to start integrating green products. So about 3 years ago, we embarked on a steep learning curve to move from what building was being referred to as green, and what we were kind of doing at the time by just tacking on some green things, a high performance, or an energy efficient furnace, maybe a tankless hot water heater, but just stuff. It wasn't really a holistic approach. To a much more true, holistic, high performance homes. And notice that we said high performance, not green. We virtually abandoned the jargon of green in our marketing and our talking about what these things are. And I'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. So we set some goals for ourselves to help move green homes to the mainstream and make them a normal consumer expectation. The first was to position Jigsaw as a leader in high-performance home design and construction. Our next goal was to build a high-performance home at no additional cost to a conventionally built home, and we set out to build what we dubbed Pilot Project Number 1. Now, I like the calling of it Pilot Project Number 1. It meant that A, pilot can make mistakes, and 1 means that we're going to have 2, so we can do it again. Pilot number 1 was an inner-city infill home in Calgary on a typical inner-city lot, 25 feet wide by 120 feet deep, horribly oriented, and completely sandwiched in by other homes that are just as tall. So we have no solar exposure, we got nothing like that. So we were okay with all that. The goal was to hit an Energuide rating of 86 with pre-renewable installation, and we were going to sell it at the same price or hopefully lower than anything else in that neighborhood that was comparable in terms of square footage, finish levels, and all that kind of stuff. So as we progressed along this path, we realized that the real value of a so-called green home was not being conveyed to the home buyer. The conversation with prospective buyers would often get bogged down very quickly in the monetary discussions of return on investment. How much is it going to cost for me to pay for that upgrade, even though it's not an upgrade? A consumer or a buyer would always see rainwater heat recovery, for example, as an extra. Take it out, it's cheaper without it. And the green building jargon would often make our buyers' eyes gloss over. We were not able to communicate the clear advantages that these homes deliver, and that we were able to deliver building these types of homes. That said, the very idea of why we need to distinguish that our homes are green is still a hot topic in our office. We wonder why these homes need to be singled out as different, and we really wonder when this will no longer be the case. So we knew our homes were much more than just saving the owner money, so we stopped talking about green homes, and we started talking about high-performance homes, because after all, it's easy.